Hi there, I'm here to read today's story, and the name of today's book is The Long, Long Letter, written by Elizabeth Spurr and illustrated by David Catrow. And here's the cover. Looks like somebody's looking in their mailbox. And here's the mailbox again. And if you look at the picture closely, it looks like not much mail gets put in that mailbox because there's a spider web growing in there. Did you ever get a letter? I know I love when I get letters from my grandchildren. It's always fun to get a letter or a card in the mail, isn't it? My mother got a postcard from Aunt Hedda. It read, "Sister dear, don't you owe me a letter?" She received a second message. "I've had no mail for a dog's age." A third, in bold calligraphy, said, "Have you quite forgotten me?" "Land o' lovin'," sighed my mother. "Why, just last month I wrote her. Poor woman must be lonely, way out there in the boonies, with no kith or kin to care for. She has too much time to fret. I'd better go write a long, long letter, one that she will not forget." My mother sat down at her pine-top desk to write. With a fine-plumed pen, she looped and scrolled morning, noon, and into the night. She badly burned dinner. It was a long, long letter. She wrote through fall and winter into spring and summer. The days grew warmer, longer. I grew taller, stronger. It was a long, long letter. She wrote of cabbages and crocuses, sausages and shoes, the newly born, the price of corn, the cranking phone she'd never use, of darning socks and scouring pots, broken clocks and knitting knots. She wrote of all the chores she had no time to do, thanks to the long, long letter. One day after breakfast she said, "Let us mail the letter. There's still so much to tell her, but I've no more ink nor paper." We put the letter into boxes and hauled it in the wagon. We gave it to the postman, who stuck 1,000 stamps on it. It was a long, long letter. On the way to the train station, a whirlwind came from nowhere. It whipped the tops right off of the boxes. Swoosh went Aunt Hedda's letter. Whoosh! The pages scattered. It was an all gone letter. Aunt Hedda lived a crooked mile from the town of Neverby. The townsfolk rarely passed her way, much less passed the time of day with tea and friendly chatter. And none had sent a cheery word by way of card or letter. She was a lone, lone Hedda. By her mailbox sat Aunt Hedda. She sat on her carved rocker with a pocket full of crackers and a pot of peanut butter. She rocked and watched around the clock from Monday until Sunday, waiting for the pleasure of a letter from my mother. She rocked in fall and winter and through the spring and summer. The days again grew shorter, but there was no long letter. She pleaded with the postman, just a small one or a thin one. How she longed for any letter. She ate peanut butter crackers to kill the pangs of hunger, but her heart still ached and hungered for a letter. Where was the missive from her sister? How could it have missed her? She kept a hawk's watch on the mailbox since a year ago, September. December's storm clouds gathered. Aunt Hedda watched and shivered. The wind howled loud and bitter. The dark skies dumped a blizzard. It was the wrong weather to sit waiting for a letter. In her fringed shawl, Hedda huddled, bone-chilled and befuddled. White flakes danced around her. Soon all was covered over. Mailbox, rocker, peanut butter, and of course, Aunt Hedda. All was silent, all was still. Then slowly from a whitened hill peeked the head of, yes, Aunt Hedda. She was beaming like the sun and staring cross-eyed at her letter. Look at those piles of paper all around her. I don't think it was a blizzard after all. One evening over tea, my mother read to me a fat letter from Aunt Hedda. You might say that I've been a little bit under the weather. I thought it was a snowstorm, but it was your airmail letter. Such a long letter. The sound was in a dither. It took 3 days to gather with snowplows and a tractor. I am told that midst the rumpus the postman said, Great Zeus's thunder, what's become of Hedda Pincus? She was sitting by her mailbox. She must be 6 feet under. Through the vineyards, through the groves, the townsfolk rushed in droves. Headed by the doctor and followed by the preacher, a posse for emergency was coming out to rescue me. Plan to see catastrophe draws good folks together. I felt like a celebrity instead of a non-entity. Life looked a lot brighter. I said thank you to the rescue team. Your concern is flattering, but I've suffered no great harm. My sister's letter kept me warm. As the townsfolk shoveled, the postman winked and chuckled. That's what I call riding up a storm. Children stacked the pages you forgot to number. They piled them in the haymow, stored them in the silo. They filled the spring house and the mill, the granary and the still. It was a long, long letter. I planned to sit down with your letter, catch up on the news, but in the discombobulation of my recent situation, I have lost my spectacles. Uh-oh, that's not good. How can she read without her spectacles, which is another word for glasses? I cannot read your long, long letter. 50 children have been rummaging through attic, house, and cellar looking for my glasses, but perhaps it doesn't matter. Maybe you see the glasses in the picture. Did you see them? Doesn't matter, for now I have 100 eyes. But best of all, I realize this town is filled with caring friends. I'll never feel alone again, thanks to your long, long letter. The end. Well, that was a nice story about a letter. Hope you enjoyed it.